turn that. Hey, oh, I was wondering what was so, I did that again. I'm like, why is it so dark? But it's, I guess, what's going to have to do is kind of a little cockeyed. Kind of like me, yeah? All right. Oh, it's exactly 7 o'clock. Right on. All right. I don't like that you guys can't see what I'm doing. Let me see if I can point it down a little bit. All right. Well, that's going to have to do. Hello. Stop. Chula. Oh, my God. I swear to God, one night we're going to have dog burgers. I know I said hello. Maybe I said it in a voice that she didn't think was mine. So, hey, I'm Tasha. I'm your Simple Solutions Specialist, and you are live from the Smoky Mountain Homestead. Yeah, so it's been a little bit of an eventful weekend here. It's been cold. It's been really, really cold. And I know it doesn't look like it because I got a tank top on, but we've had the wood stove going all day long. And then I was cooking dinner, and it just got hot in here, so I had to change my clothes. So, and I practically live in tank tops. So I just layer because, you know, hot flashes. They're great. So, yeah, what's been going on? Well, so tonight, obviously, I'm going to be doing more stuff. I got things to get done. I always do. So tonight I'm going to be making a Christmas present for my brother-in-law that he specifically requested. So is it a Christmas present if I specifically requested? I would have made them for him anyways. So I'm making him some marinated carrots, some spicy marinated carrots. Yeah, so the big thing that happened last week was that we got snowed in. We got nine and some odd inches, sorry, my nose itches, of snow. It was crazy. So Alan actually left work early so he could get home, get up the hill, you know, before he couldn't. And so he's on his way home, and he stopped to, he saw a car on the, like, it's right down the mountain from us. So he was actually coming up the mountain. So he wasn't very far from home. And he, so he pulls over because it looks weird, and it's a gal in her car. And he rolls his window down. He's like, "Are you okay?" And she wasn't. She was stuck in the ditch. So he backed up to pull into a driveway. And as he stopped, the back of the truck slid, and he slid into the ditch. So they were both stuck in the ditch. But he said it wasn't too long after that a guy came, because normally our road doesn't get plowed because we're outside of the county. So there was a guy coming down with his tractor. He was plowing the road, and so he pulled them out. So that was really nice of him. He came, and the truck's fine, Alan's fine, whatever. But he called me. He's like, "Yeah, truck's in a ditch." I'm like, "Oh, great." And I went down to the store earlier because I wanted to be able to get back up here before we got snowed in, and I got almost all the way home. I was like 2 driveways down the mountain from our street, well, it's not a street, it's like a little lane thing. And my car started to fishtail, and I'm like, "Oh crap," just a little bit, it wasn't, but just enough. So I just put it in low and right back up the hill and made it. But then we were snowed in for sure. So yeah, it was fine though, you know. I mean, it wasn't like it was any big deal. The only reason I went down into town was because I thought I might run out of wine. Everybody else is running out for milk and bread, and I'm running out for wine. That's so funny. So yeah, that was our big to-do last week. And over the weekend we went down to our in-laws, and that was really my in-laws, not his. So that was really fun. We got to do, like, the one side of the family, we did Christmas with them and stuff, and did Dirty Santa, and it was really fun. Okay, so tonight I'm making, so he loves these marinated carrots. And so the recipe actually calls for baby carrots, and not the baby carrots that you think of at the store that are in the bag, because you don't want to buy those anyways. They're really nasty. They're, the way they process them, and on top of that, they're in you don't need carrots in a bag. You know what? Just cut up the carrot. It's not that difficult. Peel it and cut it. Then you can compost the peels, or we give them to the chickens. So I just buy a bunch of carrots. And sometimes I'll save the tops and use them in soup, or I make vegetable stock and I might use it in that. So I'll put them in the compost, give them to the chickens, whatever. And then I just cut them. So what I've done with these is I cut them in little, you can see, I mean, it's just sticks, carrot sticks. And you could probably actually fit more in here if you cut them smaller than I did and then just kind of stuff them in there, but whatever. And then I just steamed them for like not even 10 minutes because I want them to stay crunchy. And then you just plunge them into some ice water so they stop cooking. Otherwise they will get mushy and that's not very delicious. And I think I actually did overcook these a little bit, but they should be fine. And then save the water that you've been steaming your any veggies with, because you can let that cool off, and I water the plants with it because it's got lots of good vitamins in there. Or I could probably just give it to the chickens too. I'd give it to the dogs, but they probably wouldn't drink carrot water. Whatever. Anyway, so that's what this is. Super, super complicated. Some steamed carrots in a jar. All right, so let's see. Okay, so this recipe actually comes from this Sunset book called, oh, it's backwards for you, Gifts from Your Kitchen. I have had this book for probably since I was married to my husband. So you're talking 25 years at least. So it's been a long time. And this is a recipe I've used a lot. So, and every time I make it, everybody loves it. So why fool with perfection, right? Although it depends on who I'm giving it to. Sometimes I'll make it a little more spicy or not spicy at all, just depending on who you give it to. So my brother-in-law happens to love spicy, so I have a little more play in the recipe this time. So it calls for the carrots. So if you can get like the French carrots, the little real French baby carrots, those would be super cute. Well, this recipe actually is for a pint, and this is a quart. But if you did the pint, you could get those baby carrots and stand them up in there so they're all standing up in there like little soldier carrot thingies. That'd be super, super cute. Because who doesn't want a carrot soldier, right? So, okay, so it calls for some bay leaves. I actually buy these in bulk, like big bulk. I have the rest of them in my pantry in there. I buy them online, and these are actually some from Penzies. I think I got these from. They're non-irradiated, really good bay leaves. So, and then I just keep the package in there because it's cooler in there. And then I fill my jar up and I put it in the cupboard back here so it's closer. So I'm just gonna shove these suckers on in there. I mean, this isn't. Like I say, it's not rocket science, because if it was, I wouldn't be doing it. I like things to be simple. And it seems to me that the simpler things in life are so, it's so pleasing to go, that was so simple. But then I guess, nobody likes it. Damn, that was really complicated. Cheers, happy holidays. Okay, so... And then I need a cup. So the double recipe is a cup of distilled white vinegar. Now I know that there are recipes and directions and things out there to make your own vinegar. And apple cider vinegar is super easy to make. I've made that for years. But distilled white vinegar, you have to have a distiller to do it. You can make regular white vinegar, but it's not going to be distilled unless you have a distiller. So I actually buy this by the gallon and then refill my jar. I mean, sometimes you have to, pick and choose your priorities about zero waste. I mean, there's only so much we can do before it's going to make you a crazy person. I mean, unless you're already a crazy person, then I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, so we need half a cup of water. This is super purified water from our Berkey. I love our Berkey. I highly, highly recommend you get one. In fact, I will make a note to, I don't have a pen. Well, when you want to text me or something, remind me to put a link in the bottom of this to the Berkey that we use. I love it. We're even on well water, and we filter it through the Berkey. We could, I mean, if something happened and we didn't have access to like if the tank went out or something on the well, we could go down to the creek and get that scummy pond water and filter it through our Berkey, and we'd still be able to drink it. So that is a really good investment if you feel like doing that. And I know there's directions online too to like make your own Berkey kind of thing out of like the plastic like food grade buckets. So you could do that too. Let's see, 6 tablespoons of sugar. A little bit of sugar. What else was I going to tell you? Oh, I made some more beef jerky. This recipe turned out way better. I did 3 pounds. I added more meat, had the meat cut thicker, and I halved the amount of pepper. So it was 3 pounds of, what did I get? Bottom round. It was 3 pounds of bottom round cut at a 1/4 inch thick. But I think I posted that recipe. If I didn't, I'll check and then I'll post it. So let me count here, because you know me, if I don't count, I'll put too much in or too little or something. That's 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm just using regular old sugar in this one. 6, because that's what Alan likes in his coffee, and that's what was sitting there. So I know. You do what you can do, right? Let's see, that was 6, and then I need a teaspoon each of salt. Yeah, so what else? Yeah, so I'll make sure that I post that recipe for the good recipe for the beef jerky, not the crappy one. Oh, you don't see it? Don't see what? A teaspoon. Oh, somebody was just messaging me. A teaspoon of salt. A teaspoon of mustard seeds. That's one of the videos I'm going to be doing pretty soon, is how to make your own mustard. That is super, super easy, and I've done it many times. It's really easy. Teaspoon of mustard seeds. And I think it's a teaspoon of dill weed, if I remember correctly. Yeah. Yeah, so did that. So we went down to Huntersville for, that was a teaspoon of dill weed. For the holiday. That was really, really fun. It's not often we get down there, so that was quite a treat. Last time Alan was down there, he was down there for his aunt's funeral service, so it was nice for all of us to be able to go. And this is a 1/2 teaspoon each of dill seed, and then it says a 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. I'm going to add like a teeny schnogger more, just because my brother-in-law likes it spicy. Just a schnogger. And there's no exact measurement for a schnogger. Probably they would call it a pinch or a scoosh or a smush or a whatever you want to call it. Yeah, so that's all of the liquid stuff that we need. Now we need garlic, because garlic is the bomb, baby. I love garlic. So I cut off, these had these little greeny ends on them, on the tips, because it was growing a little bit. So I cut the bottom off and the tip, and I just throw it in the chicken bucket, because the chickens will eat that, and it's really good for their digestion, and helps keep parasites away and all the nasties that you don't want. So I'm going to mince this really quick. Little Alan, which is Darian, he loves to cook. He loves to cook, and he cooks. He does a lot of the prep at work when they need him to, and he's like, "Hey, Mom, watch this," and he showed me this. He's like, "You can add salt to your garlic when you're mincing it, and it doesn't get all sticky all over the place." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I just don't want to." But he just thought that was so cool that he learned how to do that. I think it's cool that he loves how to cook. He loves to cook, and he knows how to cook. In fact, he's going to a scout thing tomorrow night, where they're all, and it's just the boys, and they're not a scout thing, a thing at the youth group, and he doesn't. They're all cooking dinner, and they're asking him what he was going to make. So he's making sorry, it's hot in here. He's making homemade macaroni and cheese and Italian sausages. He's going to cook up some Italian sausages and throw them in. They're like, "Wow, that's really fancy." I'm just stirring this because I don't want to put in there until the sugar and salt have all dissolved. They're like, "That's really fancy," because I guess last year all they had was hot dogs and a bunch of sides. So they're excited Darian's coming, because I guess he's the only one still that knows how to cook. So let me get this out of the way here. There we go. It's just hard to is distracting. Yeah, so, what else? What else is going on? Yeah, it's hot in here. And this kitchen is a freaking disaster, I will tell you. But it always is like that during the holidays because the back office, our office back there in Darian's room gets so cold that it's just impossible to be back there. And then we could leave the doors open and run the wood stove all day, but we would go through a lot more wood that way. So, yeah, we just decided we would just move our computers in here. So the two of us kind of take over the kitchen table during the holidays, which is weird because Alan's computer is downstairs in the basement, and it's not even a finished out basement, you guys. It's like a dugout. It's a gigantic gopher hole is what it is, and it's cold down there. But he's like, no, it's fine. I kind of like it. I'm like, you're a weirdo. Yeah, see, this is starting to dissolve, and you just don't want it to have like the sugary grainy in there. So, and I just did a really rough chop thing on the garlic. So I'm going to add that to our vinegary goodness. Mix that in. So once you jar this up, it'll keep for, so you want to refrigerate it for at least a couple days for the flavors to get all friendly and kind of kissy each other, get all happy. But these will stay good in the refrigerator for like up to 3, maybe 4 weeks, depending on how cold your fridge is. So I think that's pretty fantastic. All right, so all I'm doing is just gonna pour this stuff in here. You just wanna make sure everything is covered. I love making homemade Christmas presents. That's my favorite. You know, well, for one thing, you know, I mean, all right, guys, get down in there. You know me. What are we making? We are making spicy marinated carrots. So I put in extra garlic and extra spicy. I will be posting this recipe for sure. Yeah, and that is that. And then I kind of go in there every once a day or so and just kind of do this bit to make sure everything gets covered. And that's it. And then I just refrigerate it. Yeah, so what time is it? Oh, wow, that went by quick. Man, it is hot in here. It's getting hot in here. So take off all your clothes. Hey, Mo, I love that picture that you posted today of Cupcake. Oh, my gosh, that was so cute. The one where she's eating. It looks like she's eating a s'more or something. You guys, her daughter is so freaking cute. She's adorable. So, yeah, so what else has been going on? Oh, I wanted to talk to you. So remember last week I was saying about I would do like a little kind of a prepping tip every week. So last week we talked about getting all your important documents together, scanning them, making sure they're on the computer. So we actually have ours scanned onto the computer. We have, s'mores. We have copies of them in a binder and in a file cabinet, so Darian knows where that is in case something happens to us. He knows exactly where all the paperwork is. We also have it on a flash drive in our bug out bags, and then we have the originals in a fireproof, waterproof safe. So everything is covered. So the next step would be to make emergency contact cards, just like use Publisher or whatever program you use, and use the business card template, and you can just go in there and make emergency contacts. So it would be like, so I have Alan, of course, and so like for Darian's it has Alan, me, his TRICARE benefits number, and then it has like his grandparents' phone numbers, aunts, uncles, best friend, family, friends, you know, so that somebody can be contacted. And then you can add or not put on as much information on there as you want, because some people are like, oh, I don't want people to know people's phone numbers or whatever. So, but that's a super easy thing you can do. Just print it off and laminate them, or don't, or whatever you want to do, and stick them in your wallet. And that's always a good thing to have on you. What else? I've got more pumpkins to bake. You guys, we've got so many pumpkins. Gave another pumpkin to the chickens this morning, but still, there's so many freaking pumpkins. I don't know if we'll be able to get through them all. A lot of them will probably end up getting chopped up and put into the composter, but yeah, so I've got a bunch of Christmas presents to make. It appears that all the guys in the family, in the immediate family here, have requested beef jerky for Christmas. And yeah, so I'm like, okay, I can make beef jerky. So I got to go and buy 100,000 pounds worth of bottom round steak or roast. But that's all right, because my dehydrator only fits so much, so I can only do one batch at a time anyway. So, yeah. What else? The chickens aren't laying nearly as much. It's getting cold. But we did actually had some friends that came and took care of the chickens while we were out of town this last weekend. Big, huge shout out to the Clark family. Thank you so much. You saved our butts. Yeah, I had a girlfriend that was going to do it, but she had an unexpected death in the family, so she had to go out of town. So, but fortunately, you know, our homeschool co-op, the people in the co-op, I mean, we've met some really, really awesome people through the co-op. And Darian loves it. He loves going to the co-op. So, I mean, I never thought what kid asks if they can take chemistry and economics and what did he take? He took government this last semester and he loved it. So yeah, he even took sewing and he loved that too. So I'm like, here baby, do all this mending for us. We got all this stuff to get done. So yeah, I've still got a lot of Christmas presents to make. I went out to dinner with some girlfriends and I made them all just a little thing of lavender bath salts, but I don't take baths. I mean, not that I don't bathe. I do bathe, but I don't take baths. So, I just don't like being submerged in water. That just sounds like a really bad idea, you know? So I actually use it in my, I have a thing for soaking your feet, and I use it in that, and I love that. The problem with lavender for me is that it knocks me out if I put it on my feet. So I have to do that and then, like, literally go right to bed. Because it'll be, like, I'll put lavender on the bottoms of my feet, and I will barely make it to the bed, and I feel like I'm drugged. So instead of doing that, most of the time I'll use cedar wood if I need to use something, because it makes me sleepy, but not like somebody slipped me a roofie. So I do that, and then what else? What else have we been doing? There's a ton of stuff. Oh, you guys, I got to show you these. So I'll just show you the big one. My daughter sent me these for Christmas. So she works for this company called EcoFlower, and these flowers are actually made out of wood. They're just, I mean, they're amazing. I was like, what? Are you kidding? And she actually designs for them. So she designed this, and then I asked her, I said, did you make that? She goes, yeah, I made that. So I've got 3 of these. It is so cool. Yes, she does. I'm like, and then she does, I guess every week or something like that, she does their lookbook for them. So like their catalog, their online catalog, she does all the photography for them too. So there's this one, and then there's a smaller one. So this is the quart size, and then there's a pint size, and then there's this little baby one. It's so tiny. I'm making treats for our neighbors too. I'm putting together an extra special packet of farm stuff for the folks. Bring Arlette's party. Aw, that's cool. That's fun. I know. I love making things and you know, my thing is, because for one thing, we don't have a lot of space here. So I know I love them. I love them. And like, they'll never die. They're made out of wood. I mean, it's so cool. Since we don't have a lot of space here, like when people give us stuff, I'm like, crap, now where am I going to put that? You know, so I like to give people stuff that is like they'll use, and it'll be like bath salts or carrots. Like he'll give me back this jar, or maybe he won't. Or he'll probably text me and go, more carrots, please. But that's okay. You know, I mean, at least, you know, the jar can be reused. And it's not something that you're like, oh, you feel obligated to like hang it on your wall or something like that. Because a lot of times you just don't know what people want. I mean, unless it's very, like with Darian, it's been so specific this year because he's super into computers right now. And I'm like, I don't know what you are talking about. Nothing. I don't do I mean, I do computers, obviously. I mean, I know how to use one, but not, like, he's at building one, and he's asking for something whatever, I don't know. So he types up this list, and the whole, like, first part of it is all just computer stuff, which I'm sure if I just went in and typed it in, and in, like, Amazon, something would pop up, but now he needs... So I'm giving some canned goods and sweets, and then for the pony people, I'm also giving them some of our home-raised pork. Oh, yum, yum. I've actually got some leaf fat out in the freezer that I need to take out, and I need to render it down because I've got enough lard out there now that I've made to make a batch of soap. I've been saving it up, so I want to make soap. Yeah, and then make some goat's milk soap. We have friends that, well, I don't know if they have them anymore because they're moving to Tennessee. I'm so bummed. They were my source of goat milk, which Darian loves. So now I got to find another source of goat milk, which is going to move up our timeline for getting our goats. Because I was like, oh, if these guys have goat milk, I'll just get it from them until, you know, so we can work on another project. But they are moving to Tennessee. They're selling their homestead here, and God, it is really hot in here. Yucky. Ooh, I'm all sweaty. Nasty. I'm trying a new rendering method and some back fat now. I've always done it on the stove just because I'm home anyway, so I might as well. But I know some people have done it in the crock pot too. I've seen that. So, what are you doing, dog? They're so weird. Yeah, so I haven't tried that. And I try not to use extra, I don't know, appliances if I don't have to. If I can make everything work with just the oven and the stove, that'd be great. And eventually, you know what? They already sold them. And they were like big full-size goats. They're too big for our property. So, it'll be all right. You know, I mean, and we've got the fencing and everything. It's just a matter of getting, it's like one thing has to happen before another thing can happen and blah, blah. Well, you know. You know how it goes. So, yeah, there is a farm down, I think they're in South Carolina, that has goats that, yes, I usually do the stove, but I'm trying it. Oh, you are doing the crock pot. Oh, you're not impressed? Well, remember the time when we made it out at my place in San Diego? Because that was the first time we had done it, and it was pretty easy, and that's the way I've always done it. So if it's not working out in the crock pot, I don't even know why I would even want to try it. But I know a lot of people do it. But yeah, so the fencing that we're going to use for the goats is actually chain link fence, which is nice, but it's already up and it's what's enclosing the backyard. So we have to put up another section of fence over here first before he can move that fence to create the goat pen, blah, 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 blah. So anyway, there's a farm down, I think they're in South Carolina, and they have Nubian dwarfs that I've been stalking them. Oh my gosh, I'm like, I want to get my goats, but we will. It'll happen eventually, but patience is a virtue, right? Whatever, man. All right, well, we are just about out of time. I don't want to keep you, because I know you guys have stuff to do. So, yeah, so that's what was going on. I will make sure, right? I've heard how mischievous they can be. I will post the recipe for these marinated carrots. Oh, yeah, they're scooching down there. They're getting friendly. I will post that recipe, and I was going to post something else. I can't remember what it was. Maybe I'll remember it. I'll review the thing, and then I'll see what it was. Yeah, so that is it. And so keep it simple, you sexy monsters out there. I love you too. And peace out. Be the change.